How do Vancouver's top in-house lawyers work and play? I'm here with Brianna and Pauline to find out.
We're going to take a sunny stroll with Shari in Stanley Park.
And I'm going to put the lawyers through a different kind of bar exam. And then after that, we'll go and visit Alice, who's the GC of a billion-dollar fintech company.
Not to mention, we're going to talk AI and fractional practice with Laith. And amidst it all, it's the World Cup here in Vancouver. Team Canada's playing, so we're going to have a bit of fun too. Let's go.
Woohoo!
I'm going all in, sun in the morning, we're better be together.
I guess ready? Yeah, let's do this. Okay. Drop down. Up, back, exhale, inhale, 8, 7.
Rebecca, how was the class?
It was really hard. It was very challenging. I love a challenge, but Pauline really did it.
So is this your first bar class?
Yeah.
It might be my last. I'm not sure. Just because you can deadlift a lot doesn't mean you can do bar. That's all I have to say.
Hi, I'm Alice, General Counsel at Tipalti. I started my legal career off at Stegman here in Vancouver. It was an incredible foundation, but I wanted to be in the business. You know, at the end of every transaction, I wondered, did those synergies actually pan out? I have also been a certified Legree instructor for the past 5 years. There's probably some overlap between Legree and being a GC. In Legree, it's all about control and endurance. And I think that's really when you are a GC, you are trusted to be that calming force, right? So our legal team currently is 11, but I like to say 12 because we actually have 2 good lawyer fractional counsel. Hiring somebody full-time just didn't make sense. A traditional law firm is also not an option in those circumstances. A, because of cost, but B, you know, they don't have that in-house pragmatic experience. And when I saw, I think the level of talent that Good Lawyer had, you know, you've got former GCs who have probably practiced law longer than I have. They're absolutely going to be ready to just kind of step in, roll up their sleeves and hit the ground running. To me, today, professional services means, you know, traditional law firms and my Good Lawyer budget. I could tell you my Good Lawyer dollars go a lot further. And so that's a better use of that, you know, overall budget. But to me, it's just part of my legal flex, my external bench. I'm a true believer in remote first work. I live in San Diego now, here for most of the summer. And, you know, I am arranging for lunch and wine and dinner dates with both of my Good Lawyers.
I think it sounds really corny, but I think I always wanted to be a lawyer. I always had this kind of social justice bent. So when I was 14 years old, I took on the Toronto Star because they published an editorial that justified the internment of Japanese Canadians. So I was 14, and what did I have to say? But I was really worked up about it, and I really wanted to make sure that they understood what my family had been through and many, many families like ours. I started out at a firm on Bay Street many, many years ago, and then quickly moved by chance in-house to Cadbury Schweppes. And I went to talk to them. I thought, this is really cool. Like, you walk in and you see the ads on the walls. And then 16 years in, I was offered a job in the UK, taking on their biggest region. It was a big role, but it was tons of fun. And I went to places that I never would have dreamed, and I did things that I never would have dreamed about.
How would you describe your leadership style as a general counsel?
I think I would define it as collaborative. I don't believe in leadership as power and control. I think that leadership should be enabling people and lifting people up so that they can do the best jobs that they can. I love working remotely. I think that's what used to kill me when I was working in-house all the time, was that morning rush of getting up, getting out, making sure everyone's fed, got lunches, dogs walked, all of that before 8 o'clock. And I think that this has just made for a much more peaceful life for me. I think that the legal profession is changing now more than I've ever seen in my career, but I still feel like it's very slow. But Good Lawyer is doing its job to accelerate that change, and I love that.
Let's go, Canada! Guess who just landed in Vancouver?
Couldn't get rid of me for that long. In the meantime, let's go check out the Rivian office and do this podcast.
What's up, Steven? How are you, man?
No, but like in a smaller setting.
Yeah, more intimate.
Sounds like you had a full day.
Yeah, it's been nice.
How's the Rivian, bro?
Pretty good. Pretty swanky in here.
Enjoy.
See you later.
2 dads, 1 car.
Brett, so glad to have you here. Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm like 10% in, and it's just been all these little anecdotes about how what you say means nothing. It's only about what you do, because they're just gonna watch you and copy you. So you better not be a jackass. Like, that's what it is.
My name is Laith Sarhan, and I've been practicing through Good Lawyer for about 1.5 years now. While I summered and articled in practice at a national firm right out of law school, I very quickly knew that I needed to get deeper in touch with my inner computer geek. And that brought me to my first startup role. From there, I joined TELUS and TELUS Health. I drafted some AI contracts in 2020 in the pre-ChatGPT days. And that was like where I had the most fun. In that gray area between, technical reality and contractual, fantasies sometimes, I really love that space. More recently, I went off and started my own practice, really out of a conviction that artificial intelligence was going to change the practice of law fundamentally. The specific thing that Good Lawyer offered me was ultimately the freedom to operate and to kind of build my own practice in the way that I wanted to, while still connecting me with clients that had very innovative, very interesting challenges. A typical week for me is, it's hard to say that there is a typical week, to be 100% honest. There's a lot of flexibility for me within my lifestyle that practicing fractionally has really enabled. I'm only 33 years old. I just turned 34 last Monday. And I feel like I've just been so lucky throughout my career, and I really don't want to squander it. God, man, my life is great. Don't mess it up.
So that was our trip to Vancouver. You saw the great turnout for the 6:30 a.m. bar class. You met Shari, Laith, and Alice, and you saw the joy and the heartbreak of the World Cup. If you enjoyed this episode of the Good Lawyer Vlog, then share it with a lawyer friend who might be interested in finding a better way to practice law.